Okay, this is a Heineken game in 2006 against Simon Williams, who's a grandmaster, and who was 2478 at the time. I think he was an IM at the time, but still a bit higher rated than Michael. But I think it's nice the black setup here. Well, it turned out very nicely. So same two moves as me to start off with. And now very quick e5, because white hasn't committed the knight to f3, so you can get away with this. If the knight's actually going like this later with c4 in this reverse Sicilian, you can afford to have the luxury of an e5 in one go. Simon in a previous game, which was a draw, had to play e6 because the knight was on f3. Then he still tried the same similar plan to this game with d6 and c6, but white got in a very quick d4, so it changed the picture quite a lot, that little subtlety. But here, black's very comfortable against this now. The knight is too late now. e5 is in one go, and the black bishop is working with inside the pawn chain. This is the key thing. So bishop e7, and another key thing is the knight hasn't gone to c6, which means this bishop can reroute later, like this, if necessary. And this is also, you can do this, as a system against the Sicilian. If we look at this in reverse, and I think Luke McShane's having success, had a crushing win recently, where he played e4, c5, and he played f4, d3, and then later, bishop e2, and the bishop, was like that. So you can do this in reverse as well. It's a system. It's like you're playing the Sicilian, but with black, and you're playing white. So knight c3 castles, and now this nifty queen move comes in, queen e8, vacating d8, so the bishop can go like this. So in reverse it will be queen e1, which is what Luke McShane's been playing. So e3, now bishop d8, b4. It's slightly different to playing the English as though it's playing the English. It's like playing a reverse Sicilian. It's slightly distinctive. So queen h5, but this seems to be very pleasant for black, and it's very fluent really, the whole game, the way the black team is working together here. So queen h6 to avoid the queen exchange, f4, which has the potential for weakening a bit, this e file, and also this diagonal, as we're about to see. So c6, so bishop can come to b6 potentially. So Simon's kept his dark square bishop. He hasn't traded it for a knight on c3. There's no immense pressure on the dark squares here. And now he takes on f4, rook e8, and there's a real target now on e3. So queen b3, king goes out of the way of the diagonal. Bishop d2, knight d7. Rook moves there. Now knight f8. So this knight is also crawling to an attacking position. Like this bishop is getting to an attacking position, this knight is now crawling to one as well, maybe hitting these two sensitive points. So queen g6 to make sure there's no nasties with knight f7 coming up. So rook f3, now knight g4. So black already stands a bit better apparently. If rook g3, what happens if rook g3? Just bishop takes g5, yeah. So the bishop's unleashed an attack on the knight on g5. So the knight retreated. Now queen h5 again. So black is really ready to attack. With this bishop and this knight, everything's coming in for the attack. b5 now, bishop d7, holding up the queen side for a moment. The infiltration seems harmless because the bishop's defended by the knight at the moment. So a4, now knight g6, bishop h1, so the bishop finally comes to its attacking diagonal, and look at this lovely coordination of pieces. All these pieces are heading for the attack. It's beautiful. The light square bishop, I know it's blocked in by its own pawn, but everything else is working really well, and white's finished off quite quickly from here. So knight takes f4. Beautiful sacrifice, but logical. The queen's crashing through. So check. Now queen takes d2. So the rook, it's as though it's trapping the queen nearly, but there is queen c1 check. That's good as well. and it's the only move but it's good enough to get the queen out of trouble. But here is a very beautiful idea, making use of this e-file and this tricky knight. Knight h2 check. The king moves, and it looks as though the black queen is trapped, doesn't it? Where's the black queen going? But I wonder if you can spot the winning move here, which black played, which ended the game. If I give you 5 seconds, starting from now. Okay, it was knight takes f3. Beautiful, because if rook takes, and his knight takes d4, so exploiting that pin. So that was a beautifully coordinated game, and maybe a good anti-Sicilian system to play in reverse. So basically, just if you can imagine playing e4 and f4 as white and d3, you can use the same sort of manoeuvres. Make sure that the knight's not blocking the c pawn, because you'll need that later to liberate this bishop over here. And it seems to be a nice, attacking idea. If white's not going to commit, to mainline stuff and play this sort of reverse Sicilian, then this is a good antidote system. So this knight's also, participating in the attack, and the queen, is very aggressively posted on the king side, but it's now joined by the rest of the team. And this was just a very nice winning combination in the end. So this would have been a model game for me to look at, but unfortunately, I was convinced Michael Henning played 1e4, so this didn't happen. But there's no guarantee I would have been able to play like this anyway. But the opening, it would have been nice to have a reasonable position at the opening and not a strategically lost one. So there's a few lessons here to be learned. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.